Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a drugstore makeup tutorial on the look that I'm wearing right now. It's a more fun, colorful spring look. Since spring is right around the corner, I figured I would play with some more brighter colors. I never do any kind of look like this, so I definitely wanted to try it out. I know I haven't been on here in a while. I apologize. I've been trying to get everything situated with school and everything, so I will try and be more of a schedule and film more videos. So yeah, that's what's going on. If you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe before you leave. And if you want to see how I got this peachy yellow springtime look, then just keep watching. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is our eyes. So I zoomed you in a little bit so you could see. So I'm first just going to kind of prime, but I'm not using a primer. I'm just gonna be using the concealer that I'm gonna be using on my face, and I'm just going to use this to basically prime my eyes. So I'm just going to do a little bit of this concealer. And I should have brought a brush, but we're just going to use our finger to blend this concealer out. As I said, I am doing all drugstore products, so I wanted to make sure that even like my lid was drugstore as well. Normally I use that Smashbox lid primer, but today I definitely wanted to keep it all drugstore. And to set that, I'm just going to be using the face powder that I'm going to use on my face. I know my eyes look really red because I did try to like create this look yesterday, so I have a little bit of leftover on my eyes right now. So I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild pressed powder in Warm Light, and I'm going to use this to set that concealer. And I'm just going to be taking this like Wet n Wild shader brush. It's kind of fluffy, and it was like super inexpensive. Have a couple other ones I think, but I really like the shader one. Now we're gonna move on to the palette, and I'm gonna be using the Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette. I'm only gonna be using a couple of colors from this palette, and the first one that I'm gonna be using is this more yellow orangey tone color, and I'm going to place that right in my crease as my transition shade. Focus this right on that outer crease, blending it in there using windshield wiping motions. I did not even tell you what brush I was using. I'm using the Morphe M441 to blend this out. Next, I'm going to be taking the blush that I'm going to be using on my face. So a lot of these products I'm using for different things, and that's like one of the best things about makeup is you can do whatever you want with anything. Like just because it's a concealer doesn't mean you have to use it that way, you know? I'm going to be taking the blush that I'm going to be using on my face, and it is the Flower Beauty Flower Pots Powder Blush in Peach Primrose. And I'm going to take this and apply it onto my lid. This is such a good trick if you are running out of time and you do want something in your lid, and maybe you don't want to put bronzer and you want to do a pinker eye look. You can definitely use your blush. So I'm just placing this right on the lid. I definitely have to pack this color on to really get any decent color payoff. And then you can kind of like blend it into the crease just a little bit because this is more of like a fluffier shader brush. Okay, so you can see I have just like a little bit of peach color in my eyes, and that's exactly what I'm going for. I want more of like a pinky peach, summery spring, not summer, a spring kind of look, and I definitely wanted more pinks and yellows. So that's why I thought using a blush would be perfect because I don't have a lot of pink eyeshadows. So the next thing I'm gonna do is go back into the Jaclyn Hill palette, and with a Sigma E55, it's like a really small shader brush, like shorter. I'm going to dip into this color. It's like a more like red pinky tone. So I'm going to dip into this, and I'm going to press it right up against my upper lash line. I kind of went back over that yellow shade and just kind of deepened it up a little bit to make sure it was still there, and then kind of went back into that blush shade into the inner parts of my eye. So I just smudged that darker color on my top lash line, kind of just focusing it on the outer parts of my eye. So that's it for the eyes for right now. I'm gonna move on to my face, and I'm going to be priming today with the NYX Angel Veil Skin Perfecting Primer. And this is what it looks like. I've used this before, and I feel like it's more of just a typical primer. Like, it doesn't really have any like special benefits. It's just more for like just making sure your makeup is all smooth, and doesn't really have any like extra hydration or extra, you know, like mattifying things. So just like a normal primer. Typically, I feel like these would be good for anyone. It's more like a white color, as you saw, and it's like makes your skin feel really silky and velvety, so really nice. I really like this primer. I found it in my collection and I haven't used it in a while, so I'm gonna zoom you back out actually. Okay, now we're gonna move on to foundation, and for today's foundation, I'm gonna be using the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation, and I'm going to be using a sponge to blend that out. I'm using the e.l.f. sponge. I love this sponge. I find this foundation works the best with a sponge instead of a brush. It looks way more even. I've never used this foundation and primer combo, so I'm really interested to see how it works together. I just felt like lately my forehead has been a lot more drier, so I figured this would be a better primer. I'm just gonna do one dot on my forehead. And when I use a sponge, I like to wet it and then squeeze out the excess water so it blends a little bit easier. It does make your foundation a little less full coverage than with a brush, but it will give you a little bit extra hydration. So foundation is on, kind of sinking into my forehead lines a little bit. I'm gonna move on to concealer, and I'm gonna be using the e.l.f. Camo Concealer in Light Sand. Talked about this in a lot of my videos. It's my favorite drugstore concealer because of how full coverage it is. So I'm just going to do one eye at a time because this does dry fairly quickly. Okay, I'm going to do the other eye. Oh, put a little bit too much on that eye. Okay, so that, you can see, brightened up my under eye like so bad, like crazy. And I love that look with concealer. I like having a lighter shade concealer because of the effect that it gives my face. I really like it. It looks very, I feel like it looks more natural, and you just look more awake. So now I'm going to do the rest of my face. I'm gonna do my chin. I have these little bit of pimples. Just gonna do my chin. The center of my face. So we're gonna do the nose, just a little bit on the nose and a little bit on the forehead. With this concealer, you do not need a lot of product because a little goes such a long way. As you can see, like that little bit I put on my nose covered the entire bridge of it, so you really don't need that much. This concealer, I really like it. So full coverage, so inexpensive. It will last you a long time. Okay, so got the base done. Next is powder, and as I said before, I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Photo Focused Pressed Powder in Warm Light. And I'm not going to be baking, I'm just going to use this Morphe E3 brush and press it into my skin. Make sure everything is set. I have oily skin, so I like to set my entire face. If you have more drier skin, you can just set your concealer to make sure it doesn't crease. But I like to do my whole face just to make sure that I'm not being extra oily and everything goes on more evenly. Because if you do have some wet patches on your face, your bronzer and your blush might get a little bit patchy. It might skip on your face because it's like clinging to those wet spots. So if you want, make sure you set it so everything looks nice and even on your skin. I feel like I go a little bit overboard sometimes with powder, but I have to be sure. I'm going to do bronzer next, and I'm going to be trying this butter bronzer, the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in the shade Bronzer. This one, I feel like it's kind of old, but I'm going to try and bronze with it. I'm just going to be taking this, I think I got this out of a set from like TJ Maxx, so just going to bronze the skin with this. I love this bronzer, but I feel like once it gets old, it doesn't, you know, it's not as good. Obviously, nothing's good when it's old, but I highly recommend this bronzer. It's just such a good everyday drugstore bronzer. And I know they came out with some new shades, but I haven't tried them. But I really like this. Such a good shade too. It's not like a super warm tone bronzer, and it's not super cool tone either. It's like that perfect in between. So when you bronze or contour, you want to make sure you're just right, kind of like where the edge of your lip is. That's where you want to focus your bronzer. Okay, now I'm going to quickly just contour my nose. Not even going to contour it like, you know, super crazy. Just using that same bronzer. If you do kind of mess up, you can always just take your powder brush and just kind of like blend it, and it'll fix your mistake. Okay, so nose contour is done. I think next I'm going to move on to brows. Just do my brows really quick. Just gonna comb through them. And I'm going to be taking my L'Oreal Brow Stylist Shape and Fill pencil in blonde, and I'm going to quickly fill in my brows. Definitely need to tweeze my eyebrows, but I'm so lazy. Okay, now I'm going to move on to blush, and I'm going to take that Flower Beauty Peach Primrose blush, and I'm going to be using my Morphe E4 brush to apply that. Focusing it right on the apples of my cheeks and then blending it back. I love peach blush, and I feel like it only looks good during like the spring and the summer, so that's the blush. Now I'm gonna finish my under eyes. So I'm just gonna keep my under eye really simple. I think I'm just going to take that yellow shade that we used in our crease, this guy. I'm just going to take that on this pencil brush, and I'm just gonna smudge it right on the lower lash line. I feel like some of that pink that I had under there, like, it's kind of blending out with that yellow shade. I'm going to try and put on mascara. My eyes are like super watery now. I'm just gonna curl my lashes really quick. And this is just an eyelash curler from e.l.f. I feel like you don't need an expensive eyelash curler because an eyelash curler is an eyelash curler, honestly. And I really wish I had a different drugstore mascara, because this L'Oreal Lash Paradise mascara, I really don't like it now. I feel like it's making my lashes look so clumpy, but I don't have another drugstore mascara because the last time I went to Ulta, they were like sold out of all of any other L'Oreal ones, and I really like L'Oreal mascaras. Sadly, I used to love this, but I don't know what they did, but it is not like the original. But this, like I said, is the only one I have, and Ulta decided they were just not going to restock on any L'Oreal mascara, so we're just going to try and work with our lashes today. Yeah, see how like clumpy they look? I just don't like this mascara. I feel like it's not the brush, but it's like the actual mascara product. It's just way too wet, and it's just not working. I see like this one, my lashes look stuck together. I'm gonna set my brows using the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Boost and Set Mascara in Blonde. Okay, so brows are done. I'm going to finish my face using the e.l.f. Baked Highlight and Moonlight Pearls to highlight. And I'm using my Anastasia brush to apply it. Okay, we're gonna finish off the look with lips, and I'm gonna be using the ColourPop lipstick. I guess ColourPop lipstick in Appy. This is like a pretty like peachy nude. Okay, so this is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really had fun creating this look. I never do any kind of colorful looks like this, so it was really fun. If you like this video, don't forget to leave it a thumbs up, and I will see you next time.